Good morning, children. We have discussed about the types of nerve fibers. On the basis of function, also we have discussed neurons are classified into three types. And now we have discussed also types of nerve fibers. They are called the myelinated nerve fibers or non-myelinated nerve fibers. And myelinated, non-myelinated nerve fibers form the white matter and grey matter of the brain. Now next part we are going to discuss about the transmission of nerve impulse. Nerve impulse is nothing but the conduction of stimulus through the nerve is called the nerve impulse, which is transmitted through the neurons. Now we know that already in the introduction we have told all the information from the environment, all the informations from the environment are detected. Detected means identified by the sense organs. We are having 5 sense organs, and sense organs will be detecting all these information. And each and every sense organ is having the receptors. Receptors means they will be receiving the stimulus. Heat, cold, temperature, or light, darkness, all these. So these sense organs will be detecting the stimulus or all information, and each and every sense organ is having the receptors located in our sense organs. Example, eyes, nose, and the skin. Information from the receptors is transmitted. How the information will be transmitted through the receptors? In the form of electrical impulse. Just like electric current, the information will be passing through the neurons and is received. How it will be? Now each and every part in our body, this type of neurons, multipolar neurons are present. So the dendrites or the tip of the dendrites, they will be receiving the stimulus or any type of physical factors, heat, cold, they will be receiving. And from dendrites it will come to the cyton or cell body. From cell body through the action, ultimately it will be reaching to the action terminal, and already we have told that it is a knob-like structure is present. I had shown here also. These are called the synaptic knobs. And in this synaptic knob, now I am coming to the next diagram. This is the diagram of terminal action terminal. These are called the synaptic knobs. So when the stimulus will be reaching to the synaptic knob of the terminal region of action, from this terminal region or synaptic knob, a chemical substance will be released which is called neurotransmitter. Now what is happening? From dendrites to cyton to the action, the stimulus will be passing through. Conduction of stimulus will be taking place. Ultimately it will be reaching to the tip of the terminal action, which is more or less swollen structure, that is called synaptic knob. So through the action, the impulse will be passing as electrical current, electrical impulse. From there, it will be reaching to the next neuron. Next neuron means here cell body is there. These are the dendrites, and after that action again will be there. So from one neuron to the another neuron, how this electrical impulse will be transmitted. So when the impulse will be there in the neuron, it will be passing as electrical impulse. But in between the neurons gap is there. This gap is filled with a chemical which is called neurotransmitter. So when it will be passing from one neuron to the another neuron, the electrical impulse will be converted as chemical impulse, because here there is no neuron. Again chemical impulse will be transmitting the impulse to the neighboring neuron, that is dendrites of the neighboring neuron. So electrical impulse to chemical impulse to again electrical impulse. Like that way it will be transmitting and it will be reaching to the brain. So what I have told, information from the receptors is transmitted as electrical impulse and received by the dendritic tips of the dendrites of the neuron. The impulse travels from the dendrite, I told, to the cell body or cyton, and then along the action to its terminal end. That one I have told. On reaching to the axonal end or terminal end, it causes the nerve endings to release the chemical. What is the name of that chemical? It is called neurotransmitter, which diffuses across the synapse and starts a similar electrical impulse in the dendrites of the next neuron. So this chemical is transmitting the impulse from one neuron to the another neuron. Then their cell body, again it is carried along the action, so that from one neuron to the another neuron, one neuron to the another neuron, continuously it will be passing through. In this way, the electrical signal reaches the brain or spinal cord. The response from the brain is similarly passed on to the effector organ, such as the muscular gland cell that undergoes the desired response. When it is coming back, the response is coming back from the brain to the different parts of our body. These are considered as the effector organ, showing the effects or response. So this is the way the impulse will be taken or stimulus will be taken from the environment by the nerves. It will be reaching to the brain. From the brain again it will come back to the effector organ. That is the way the transmission of nerve impulse. Transmission is nothing but the passing the stimulus. Now next part we are going to discuss, that is called the flow of nerve impulse from axonal end of one neuron to the dendrite of the neighboring neuron through a synapse is called the synaptic transmission. Synaptic transmission, here only chemical transmission will be taking place. Now next one we are going to say neurotransmitter. So here you have to study what do you mean by, now what is the pathway of transmitting the nerve impulse. So dendrites to cyton to axon to synaptic knob to the dendrites of the neighboring neuron, like that way. Now next one is called the neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are the chemical, I told that one, which will be secreted by the synaptic knob, which allow the transmission of nerve impulse from the action terminal of one neuron to the dendron of the neighboring neuron or another neuron, or to an effector organ. The important, what is the name of that chemical? Neurotransmitter is the term is used for that chemical. But what is the name of that chemical? Name of that chemical is acetylcholine. Acetylcholine. So that is the name of that chemical. Now next part we are going to discuss about the human nervous system. Now, complexity of nervous system can be observed during the course of evolution. If we see invertebrates, they don't have the brain, but nerves are there, so they can receive the different types of stimuli and they can give the response. But whenever from invertebrates to vertebrate animals have developed, among the vertebrate animals also, human being is showing the more complexity in the brain structure, more complexity. So that due to course of evolution, complexity of nervous system has also taken place. So that is the nervous system. Nervous system. Now, that is the complexity of nervous system can be observed during the course of evolution. We, the human being, differ from other animals that in our other animals, in our ability to think and take actions, which is due to the well-developed nervous system. As we are having the well-developed nervous system, we can think and take the action against any type of stimulus. Human nervous is important thing now. Human nervous system is differentiated into three types. What are the three types? Now, central nervous system, one CNS. Second one is called the peripheral nervous system. It is called PNS. And third one is called the autonomic nervous system. It is called ANS. So, nervous system of human being is differentiated into three types. CNS, PNS and the ANS. Now one by one we will be discussing all the three types. The CNS acts as the center for information processing and control. CNS, its main function is the center for information processing and control. It consists of brain. Underlying there, central nervous system is made up of two parts, brain and spinal cord. PNS is made up of the nerves which connect the brain and spinal cord, which is called the peripheral nervous system. Underlying there, which is made up of the nerves which connect the brain and the spinal cord to all parts of our body. And ANS is formed of, underlying there, sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves. So all the three different types of nervous system, we have told that how they are made up of, what are the parts. Central nervous system is having two parts, brain and spinal cord, and PNS or peripheral nervous system is having the nerves which are making contact between the brain and spinal cord to the other parts of the body. Third type, it is ANS, it is made up of two types of nerves, which is called the sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves. Till here.